The 5 most populated states in the US in order are California, Texas, Florida, New York, and Pennsylvania. Each of these states has a distinct culture, multiple major cities, and millions of people to call them home. And as you may guess, they have a lot of theme parks. California, the Golden State, has Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, Magic Mountain, as well as plenty of others in the Bay Area. Texas, home of big-ass trucks, overrated sports teams, and absurd heat, has 2 major Six Flags parks and a SeaWorld as well. Florida is Florida, and I mean that in terms of theme parks and just in general. You know what Florida has, and if you don't, I'm kinda concerned. You may be living under a rock.
South America, take it away!
Pennsylvania is a beautiful state, home to some of the worst things ever, but also has fucking Hershey Park and more, so you know what, whatever. And then there's New York. My state, baby. We probably have some damn good parks, right? Let's see, we got Coney Island, and a kinda shitty Six Flags park in Buffalo.
Fuck Trae Young!
But we do have a pretty damn underrated park upstate. Introducing the hidden gem of Six Flags. Give it up for The Great Escape. Just trust me, it's so peak. So this is the first actual park review I'm gonna do. I did technically review Nickelodeon Universe months ago, but that was more of a rant if anything, and not a true in-depth look at a park, so how about we start off with a park I actually like? Six Flags Great Escape in Queensboro, New York is one of the most underrated and underappreciated parks in America, especially in the Six Flags chain. And you wanna know why that's the case? It's because it doesn't feel like a Six Flags park. Got him!
Boom. Roasted.
You know, I say this, but I do actually like the stereotypical Six Flags vibe, if in a so bad it's good type of way. Hey, look at that, my credibility just vanished. What I'm trying to say with that is, Great Escape does not have the stereotypical Six Flags atmosphere. There are elements of it, like the lack of true theming, blacktop, kinda shitty food, and the occasional advertisement, but for the most part, Great Escape feels unrecognizable from Six Flags. If I was unaware that it was a Six Flags park and you showed me these photos, I would have thought it was a lower tier Cedar Fair or even an independent park most likely. There's just a certain charm to this park that you don't really get at other corporate parks. And the funny thing is that The Great Escape, as of a few months ago, is no longer a Six Flags park. Yep, it was a part of that big ol' Enchanted Park sale earlier this year. And isn't that a fun twist of fate? The anti-Six Flags park is no longer a Six Flags park. Anyways, I suppose that I should start talking about the park itself now. The good, the not as good, and the surprisingly charming. Let's get it on, folks. Okay, so first things first, how the hell did we get here? Well, the park is in Queensbury, which is right between Lake George and Saratoga, actually just down the road from Lake George off of I-87. The first impressions of the park is actually pretty damn cool. The entire front of the park is right there on display from the road, giving you just a taste of what's to come before you enter. You'll see sights such as this drop tower, a Larson Loop, Steamin' Demon, a boomerang, and more. It does look really nice though with all the kinetic energy and a solid entry plaza to boot. Parking, however, is pretty weird for The Great Escape, and if you've been to Six Flags New England, you'd know what I'm talking about. Due to a lack of room, the parking lot is on the opposite side of the road from the park, and you have to walk across a little overpass to reach the entrance. It's far from convenient, I'd say, and this goes for New England as well, but it does give you the view that everyone knows this park for, I guess. Anyways, you eventually reach your front entrance, and as I mentioned a minute ago, it's a very nice looking plaza. The actual entrance building looks cool, and there's this awesome shot of Sasquatch, the drop tower, looming over the park sign. A very, very underrated entrance plaza, if I must say. So you walk through the entrance and are met with a fork in the path. Great Escape has a very unconventional layout. There's no real midways or planned out sections, paths will just go wherever they please with many dead ends. But there is a good reason for this, however. Decades before Six Flags got their grimy corporate hands on it, this park operated as Storytown USA, a small independent family park themed to various fairy tales. There weren't many rides, but there was tons of little themed spots, statues, and buildings of these stories. As the park grew in popularity, they expanded with a brand new area called Ghost Town, themed to the Wild West. And then the park just kept on growing, got bought by Six Flags, yada yada yada, you get the point. So essentially, the front of the park is the original part of Great Escape, while as you get towards the back, it's a bit newer, which is why the park kinda makes an L shape instead of a convenient little loop. Anyways, tangent aside, you can go one of two ways. For the purposes of this video, we'll take the right. Taking the right immediately brings you into your first, air quotes, themed area. Hot Rod USA. Everything here has a loose 1950s theme, and you come face to face with your first ride. Sasquatch, the tallest ride at the park at nearly 200 feet, is a set of S&S drop towers. One of them shoots you up and the other drops you down. The views from the top are just breathtaking, and it packs in a nice thrill as well. Definitely a must-do attraction, though I must say, the drop side is a lot better. Further down Hot Rod USA is also a car ride named Thunder Alley, and one of them Larson Loop thingies. This one is named Grease Lightning. Yep, like the song from Grease. And then at the end of the path, you'll meet the first of the 6 roller coasters here, Flashback. Yeah, reason number 2 for why this park doesn't feel like Six Flags is the utter lack of coasters. We have 6, one of them being a kids coaster. There's a lot to do here, but if you're looking for coasters, you will be disappointed. Anyways, Flashback is one of the infamous Vekoma boomerangs, and it is one of the better ones too. Not too rough, but also super forceful. It did recently get new trains and a repaint, so that's also just making it even better. From there, you then enter the next area, Storyland USA. Yep, the original attractions and stuff are still here, and though the only ride is this carousel, the charm is undeniable. I mean, look at these tiny little houses and stuff. You probably can't fit inside them unless you're a child or just very small. They're just so adorable. And with all the shade over here, it's just a very nice place to chill out as well. From Flashback, you really have 2 directions you can go, into Storytown USA or towards the back. We'll go into Storytown and then past it. But as you keep going, you soon enter what is, in my opinion, the best area in the park, Ghost Town. Ah yeah, here we go, this is the shit I like. As you may have guessed, Ghost Town has a general Wild West theme, and as I mentioned, it is one of the original sections of the park. Now, you have 2 ways of entering this area. You can either take the conventional route by walking up this hill, or you can take the fun route by walking through this mock cave of sorts. It's some cheesy rock work, but man is it pretty cool. However, it is quite cramped in there, so do be wary of that. Ghost Town largely forms a big ol' square, and there is plenty of things to do. At the top of the hill, you'll see the Crimson track of Canyon Blaster, an aerodynamics mine train coaster that was originally relocated from Opryland in Nashville. It's a very cool looking ride, especially with this big ass helix, but unfortunately, Canyon Blaster is a big hunk of junk. Janky as hell, very rough, and frankly, a very stupid layout. Over to the left of it is Desperado Plunge, the park's very popular log flume. It's a damn solid flume with a nice drop and even a dark ride section. Definitely a ride I would do when here. On the other side are 2 flat rides, a set of bumper cars, and a Husk Condor named Condor, very original. It's always cool to see one of these things still around, as they are definitely a dying breed. But up to now, I have been ignoring the 2 headlining rides of Ghost Town. At the other end of this pavilion thing are Adirondack Outlaw and Steamin' Demon. Adirondack Outlaw is by far the most thrilling ride in the park. This is a fun-time Vomatron standing over 160 feet in the air, and it's an amazing flat ride. The flips on it are wild, and it's super forceful on the downswings, and the views are just breathtaking again at the top, just like Sasquatch. A must-do when here at Great Escape, especially as it's one of the few major thrill rides. And then right beside it is Steamin' Demon, a rather cookie-cutter aero looper, and my god, this thing is
Ass!
The drop is pretty good, but man, those inversions are just so janky and rough. Aero nostalgia makes me ironically enjoy it, but this is an objectively terrible ride, even if it does look kinda pretty. I think if they tore this thing out and put a modern thrill coaster in its place, not a single soul in this world, heaven or hell, would complain. And that's Ghost Town, really. It's well themed for Six Flags, has some nice charm, and a great collection of rides, even if the 2 coasters suck ass. As I said earlier, I think this is the best area in the park, but now it's time to talk about the rest of the park, so let's head to the back. Walking back over towards Flashback, you really start to appreciate just how much greenery there is in this park. Again, Great Escape is just a very pretty amusement park. So then you meet a bridge to cross the park's river, but right in front of this is Timbertown, the park's kids area. Reason number 3 for why this doesn't feel like a Six Flags park is the lack of IP-based rides and experiences. You will find 0 DC or Looney Tunes rides or characters anywhere in this park. Instead, they have their own characters in the form of Timbertown. And this is just a nice kids area with a good collection of rides, including a Zamperla kids coaster named Frankie's Mine Train, which is probably less janky than the actual mine train. However, you will find the whole rest of the park in the back. But as you go towards it, you'll find that the so-called themed areas are kinda gone. There is a vague Bavarian theme, but it isn't really there at all. But first off, you're met with a large collection of flat rides. So some notable ones include a set of flying scooters, a chance wipeout called Pandemonium, and an indoor scrambler called Blizzard. And let me tell you, do not skip Blizzard. I have no idea why these indoor scramblers are like this, but for some reason they're always more insane than the normal ones. They did not need to go this hard, but thank God they did. And looming over this clusterfuck of flat rides is the Bobcat, the park's newest and best roller coaster. I have an entire review out for this ride if you want to hear my full thoughts, but essentially this family wooden coaster is just so much damn fun. Don't be fooled by its small size, it's absolutely worth doing again and again and again. Tons of airtime and a smooth layout. Just a phenomenal ride from the Gravity Group. You will also find the park's other water ride here, a rapids ride called Raging River, and this thing gets you soaked. Probably the wettest rapids ride I have ever done, and has a nice long layout as well through the trees. The last major ride in this part of the park is Daredevil Dive, the park's sky coaster. Like many other rides of its model, this isn't upcharged, so this is not including with admission, but it does definitely give a rush when you do it. This part of the park does definitely feel more like a standard amusement park, especially like a Six Flags park, but it's again a solid ride collection. But from here on out, the layout of the park gets even weirder, somehow. There's a set of go-karts and this very cool memorial for Alpine Bobsled, which was the coaster that Bobcat replaced, but for some reason, you're now in the water park.
What?
Hurricane Harbor is included with your entry to Great Escape, but is for some reason split in half and just smushed into the back of the park. The right side of it has most of the slides, including a Pro Slide Tornado and a set of tube slides, as well as the park's Lazy River. And then on the left side is the wave pool and another slide tower featuring a mat racer, a trapdoor slide, and a couple body slides. In terms of attractions, it's a pretty solid water park with good slides, but it's kind of a mess to navigate around. And because of this, the dry park has this super long catwalk with no amusement rides for a good walk. But hey, that really stupid and awkward walk gives you quite the treat at the end of it, as you're greeted with the park's most well-known and iconic ride. Introducing the Comet, an enormous PTC wooden coaster that was actually relocated here in the 90s. And by God, this thing is just great! There's just a sea of airtime hills, all of which send you out of your seat. There is definitely a bite to it like any other wood coaster, and the trains aren't great, but again, an absolute must-do here at Great Escape. And right there in front of it too is Extreme Supernova, a rather small but pretty fun frisbee that flips you 360 degrees all the way around. It is pretty awkward back here with the two rides right beside the water park, but you know what, whatever. With the ride as good as Comet, I'm not going to complain. And that's the park. A charming walk through the trees with lots of hidden charm and tons of things to do, including some great flat rides, 2 excellent wooden coasters, a full-fledged water park, and the unholy creations of aerodynamics. There are some complaints I do have with it though. After all, am I really an enthusiast if I don't complain? The food here is not good. It's your standard amusement park selection of burgers and pizza and chicken and all that shit with little variety. But if you do want some great food around here, go to Martha's Dandy Cream. It's right across the street from the park and the food is amazing, especially their ice cream. Another complaint, again, is the lack of true thrill rides here. The only good thrill rides are Adirondack Outlaw, Comet, Sasquatch, and maybe Flashback. Bobcat's more of a family ride anyways. All the others are either bad or clones you can find just about everywhere. I really think the next ride for this park should be a modern steel thrill coaster, but if they aren't going to do that, maybe something like a Starflyer or some Zamperla ride would be great here. I'd also love another indoor ride because Blizzard is the only one. They used to have an indoor coaster here called Nightmare at Crack Axle Canyon, but that got removed decades ago. However, the building for it is still up there in Ghost Town, so maybe they can use it. Maybe a dark ride, I don't know. And I mentioned before how the park's layout just isn't great. It's not confusing really, it's just not very convenient to have all those dead ends. But overall, Six Flags Great Escape is an excellent option for families or enthusiasts to visit when in the Lake George area. And I forgot to mention this, but there is in fact an on-site hotel here complete with an indoor water park, so that's just a cherry on top really. To be honest, I'd rather go to a park that looks good but has less coasters than a park that has lots of coasters but looks like shit. Great Escape is not a park I'll go to often, but when I do go, oh man am I gonna enjoy myself. And the Enchanted Park sale should be an absolute godsend for this park, as well as the other parks sold, because now they'll finally get attention. And then there's Darien Lake, who's just ready to end it all at this point.
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!